Hello, hello. Looks like we are live. Welcome. My name is Brendan. I'm the head of Open Owl Studios. It is great to be here on this, is it July 27th? July 27th. Um, we've been having some busy weeks here at the studio. I say here at the studio. I'm in my home office. Here at the studio is a nebula type nebulous type thing. We have people, in town here in Kelowna, British Columbia, but we also have people, a couple of our designers are in Minneapolis, and we have some European artists, it's kind of all over the place. So it's great to be here. My purpose is to, chat, answer any questions that you all may have. We've released a couple of updates the past few weeks. Starting with the Stars 1.5 kind of content update. We did a big old live stream on that. I think it was last week or the week before. And then we we just had a Mythwind and a Stone Saga update. So a bunch of like big updates. And, it's kind of great. Maybe what I'll actually do here is I will go ahead and add a slide in. And this is a kind of our timeline slide. Oh, look at that. The timeline slide doesn't even here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to do this and present the share screen window timeline. Boom. Okay, so I'll start off just by giving us a recap. And, this is a great way to walk through our different games and in various stages of development. So before we kind of get into anything else, let me kind of walk you through the steps of pre-production, production, manufacturing, and fulfillment. Pre-production tends to be the idea phase when we're concepting. We might have a designer kind of lined up. Some key artwork pieces. This is really to get the vibe and the theme of the game. And so really, when we've chosen to commit to developing a game, it enters into pre-production and it kind of lives there for a while. There's really not a whole lot of graphic design in the pre-production phase. Mostly just kind of like blue sky thinking, some light mechanics. And then when we enter into production, that is when, the game designers ramp up, graphic design ramps up. During this phase is when we do our Kickstarter. Everything kind of just ramps up in production, and it is typically the longest stage here. And who knows? Maybe we'll split this up. I know different designers kind of do different things for their timeline, but that is like that's like the big one, right? Where you're doing a lot of work, a lot of play testing, a lot of the rules writing, all that different stuff. And then when it is handed off to manufacturing, we go ahead and give our print files to manufacturing. This is kind of when the translation starts as well. And then finally fulfillment. And fulfillment is like the freight and fulfillment kind of all kind of clumped in together. So nice little graphic for things just to give you a framework of where we're at as a company. And you know what? I want to do this. I want to do this one. Yeah, that's great. And so you'll see that Stars of Icarios, first one wrapped up. Might be nice to have our Kickstarter date in here. I know we had, I think Nathan mentioned it'd be nice to do our Kickstarter date. And so maybe we'll include that going forward. Then we have Mythwind. Mythwind is out of production. We're wrapped on production and we're into manufacturing. And I know sometimes we use the word production to mean manufacturing, but in production, this is like game development. And then we have manufacturing going on. It looks like we're estimated to wrap up in near the end of August. So, we'll stay tuned. And then fulfillment beginning in October. So that's our current timeline with Mythwind. As far as like, hey, where are we at for Mythwind, right? I'm trying to think. We got a bunch of trays. Where's my trays? So just to show you guys how we've been working, we got a bunch of trays in. So these are all like the just sample trays that we got from the factory. The latest round, we changed the thickness of the trays to be a little bit thinner, and it solved some problems and it created some other problems. But this is this is the sample, and it's too thin. The plastic ended up being too thin. You'll notice that there's a piece here that's a little bit bubbly. So we went back and I'm like, hey, instead of, and it's like margins, it's fractions of a millimeter. We started with 1.2 millimeters. It's too thick. We dropped down to 0.8 millimeters, too thin. Now we're going up to 1 millimeter thickness for these player trays. So that's coming with the kind of the full box, a full box sample, which I just got a shipping notification at the beginning of the day. So that should be here early next week. I'm excited. I'll show that off once we kind of get into it. But really excited about how Mythwind is shaping up. It's going to be sweet for everyone to kind of have a chance to look at it. I am going to Gen Con, and sorry, I got distracted by a question here. I'm going to Gen Con, and I was hoping to bring Mythwind with me to Gen Con, but I don't know if that's going to happen anymore because I think I'm going to leave it for Nathan and Taryn to go through. Okay, so we had a question about the timeline here, and this is from Kalu. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but they're asking. So the Stars of Icarus Kickstarter is shipping, has shipped. Yeah, this was the first Stars of Icarus. So if you see at the bottom, let me remove your comment. At the bottom, we have Stars of Icarus 1.5. So that's the one coming up. We're going to keep this chart and we're going to kind of build it out because I think it's really helpful for backers and for community members to know that we as a studio are creating fulfilling games. And so ideally in a couple of years this is like boom, and we'll have a bunch of games that are finished development, a bunch of games that are in per different stages of production, whatever it may be. And so that's the case there. And so Mythwind, Mythwind, we're getting that sample in, should be early next week. All the translations are finished, and we'll be shipping everything together when it's wrapped up. Pretty excited about that. If you're in Gen Con, just a little side note on Gen Con, make sure to give me a shout on Discord. Maybe we can get together, play some games. I don't know if that happens at Gen Con. I imagine it's a board game convention, right? But regardless, we can touch base. So Stone Saga is the next project in the pipeline, right? Stone Saga went in. We did our crowdfunding on. Was it February? I think February, March of this year. We're in production right now, estimated to be wrapped production in December, then hand off to Valves for translation and manufacturing into February, and then fulfillment in May. So that is where we're at with Stone Saga. Really excited. We just announced a big play test. I think we had, let me check. I think we had 200 people sign up to help play test Stone Saga, which is crazy. We're only asking for 4 groups, 169. Sorry. So we'll probably make a version of the play test when we're kind of ready-ish live for everyone, but we're going to get four groups in for kind of a closed cycle. David is asking if we have a booth at Gen Con. David is with Lucky Duck Games. David, we don't have a booth at Gen Con. I'm just going to show up, hang out, wandering around. I should ask the question, do you have a booth at Gen Con? Maybe I'll come and ambush you. Otherwise, we can just we can connect sometime. So no booth at Gen Con for us. Just hanging out, lots of meetings, looking forward to seeing what's new in the world of games. And for me, this is my first Gen Con. I'm excited to be there. So that's Stone Saga, the timeline. And then we have the Stars 1.5 estimated to go to Kickstarter. When Mythwind fulfills, right? We're kind of waiting for that for that owl to move to the next step, and then we're going to be launching Akarios in the Kickstarter journey, and so we'll be posting as soon as we know that's going to happen, and then production aiming to get that finished by the end of January, and then manufacturing fulfillment really hoping for a quick turnaround, and we're excited about how all that is shaping up. So that's really the um, quick overview of everything that's happening here at OpenL. You know, we're looking ahead, seeing how 2023 is going to end. We're printing like I think almost 25,000 copies of Mythwind, um, which is that's like a mind-boggling number. It's going to be translated in like 6 different languages. Um, because so many people are going to be enjoying Mythwind this Christmas. And for me, that's thrilling to see all the pictures, see all the stories, see all the good times that come out of it as people kind of gather around tables all across the world, and dive into like a really, really unique game. And we've been talking a little bit about like, okay, hey, what is our vision as a company? And we're excited to bring these like big box experiences, but we're also just like excited to bring you strong narrative games with either this through world building or storytelling, through art. We love that our games have a kind of rich sense of place, and even though that place is like fictional, it is really important. And then also we hope that you enjoy kind of playing the games we make as we push into maybe some uncharted avenues. And I was playtesting Stone Saga a lot last week, and I'm like, man, this is a neat experience. A neat experience in a sense of like, I don't know if I've played a game quite like this. And same thing with Mythwind, where we hope to kind of usher in these kind of new innovative designs, and to accompany those with different components, different, I'm talking about these trays. I've been talking about these trays for seems like years, because it is new, it is innovative, but it is so complicated. And sometimes that innovation really does take some work on our end. Great. Well, I think that is pretty much it in the terms of OpenL. A little short update, but hopefully next week, no, it'll be the week after. Next week's Gen Con week, but the week after I'll do a little bit of an unboxing of Mythwind, which could be fun. And we can touch base then. Great. All right, everyone, take care.